Hi, everyone. I'm Richard Giacovas. I'm here with Pete Kelly, graduate of '94 here at Iona. He is the Director of New Business Development for Major League Alumni Marketing. Pete, thanks for joining me.
My pleasure. It's great to be here.
Yes.
It really is.
I want to actually start that you were your career as a post-grad here in '94. When you graduated here, what were your plans initially when you were leaving?
I had no idea. And I was a journalism major. I thought I could write. And I probably, quite frankly, I'm going to speak about this tonight. I probably didn't do enough of the networking and all the opportunities that were in front of me. So I worked as a college recruiter for a little while, helping athletes get to the next level. And it was not really what I wanted to do. Read an article about a company called Steiner Sports right here in New Rochelle, and hammered the guy for about 2 months to get an interview. Really just stayed in front of him and ended up there about 6 months later, and I was there for about 15 years.
Okay.
So.
Now, vice president of Steiner Sports is where
For sales, yeah.
is where you eventually wound up.
Correct.
That's a big company.
In 96. Well,
in 96.
But in 96 it was a relatively small company.
Right.
Another gentleman had left, so it was kind of just, and one of the things we'll talk about tonight, just right place, right time. We just stayed in front of Brandon, who's the owner of Steiner Sports, and we had a good run till about I left in May of 2010.
And now, what made you leave?
Better opportunities. Sometimes you get a little stale being in the same place for the same time, and I wanted to challenge myself a little bit more and kind of do more of a startup, almost what I did at Steiner, but have more ownership in my new role.
Right.
So.
Now, you finished here with a BA in Mass Communication. So,
Correct.
What was your participation in the Mass Communication program?
Very little. Very little. I mean, it was. I transferred in from. I went to a few schools. I'm not going to get into that, but I transferred in, and quite frankly, as I started, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I liked writing. I was good at it. Thought I was going to try to do some work. Tried to get into Sports Illustrated, Golf Digest, and it just didn't pan out. So to answer that question, I really wasn't too involved in the program compared to where it probably is now,
Right.
and would have done things a lot different.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Does that answer your question?
It does, because you know what? I think there are a lot of kids that are like you right now,
Absolutely.
and they don't really know what they want to do.
Correct.
And
I would agree
so
with
you can kind of give them. What's the message to kids that are going to be graduating?
Well, use the technology today. You got to remember back. So when I graduated here, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have the social network. LinkedIn didn't exist, obviously. Network like you can, and use Iona, which has become well known as a very, very good school, especially in the East. There's so many alumni out there. The difference to me, though, is I'm going to always look at a potential hire who's persistent, always coming at me with a different idea. Send your resume to me differently. I had a kid send me a singing telegram resume. All right, he didn't get the job, but he got the interview. So, you know what I mean. You got to be persistent, and you can't use the people you know within your network.
Okay. Now we go to Major League Alumni Marketing. So what's the difference between that and what Steiner was?
So we work with the nonprofit. So all the players within Major League Alumni Players Association alumni, not the Players Association, it's the alumni. They're part of our group. On two sides is we have the marketing and the memorabilia division. But everything we do, a portion goes back to our nonprofit to support all those players who have made the game of baseball so great. Very similar to Steiner, but we're focused centrally on baseball.
Okay. And now baseball, and Steiner is really all around baseball.
All around, yeah.
But when you talk about memorabilia, there's been a lot of news lately about steroid accusations, most recently Alex Rodriguez. Does that hurt sales of memorabilia?
Current, if the guy's current and it comes out, so I'm sure A-Rod sales are nothing right now. I'm sure people are shying away. You got to let it pass a little bit. I hate to say it that way, but in terms of marketing, he'll come back, he'll rebound, because I think we're a much more forgiving society now.
Right.
I mean, I think Lance Armstrong will be back.
Armstrong,
So, but to answer your question, unequivocally it hurts. For the older players who didn't have that, it's a different world. You know what I mean? It's more about a current situation right now.
So final message, post-graduation, there's a senior that's graduating this year. They're not really sure what they want to do. What's the final message to them?
Well, you got to try to know what you want to do. That's the hardest part. And a lot of kids, and I shouldn't say kids, young men and women come to me and say, I want to get into sports. The problem with that is, what does that mean? Where do you want to go in sports? Do you want to do sales? Do you want to, do you want to do sponsorship? So number one, have a plan of get an idea of what you want to do. go grab an internship if it's available to you, because the internships 90% of the time will lead to something else. And just network like it's your last day on earth. You got to just keep going.